Namaste friends, I am Ritesh and today our topic is Virabhadrasana I, also known as a Warrior I. Friends, it's a beginner level standing pose and it's a great hip opener. And this posture, that is Warrior I or Warrior III, falls into a internal rotated femur. So those asanas where the femur is facing in front, while Warrior II is where we widen the legs apart. So that is known as a external rotated femur. Now friends, before we get into the pose, if you have a recent or chronic injury to the hips, knee, back or shoulders, please avoid it. Just listen to your body when you practice. Now before we get into the practice of Virabhadrasana I, you need to prepare yourself a little bit by stretching your hamstrings a little bit, creating a little bit of balance. So a Uttanasana, that is a forward extensions, would be great. Also a tree pose, that is a Vrikshasana, great. And a low lunge or a high lunge to open your hip flexors. Now these asanas would help you to get in the pose a little bit more easier and comfortable. So gentle warm-up is required. Even a Surya Namaskar, that is sun salutations, would be great. So now let's get into the pose. So friends, in Warrior I or Virabhadrasana I, there are different ways of getting into the pose. So people get into a downward facing dog and then get into a Warrior I, or the other variations are people, so from top of the mat, you take the leg back. That's also a way of getting into a Warrior I. And the other way is keep taking the leg, so taking the left leg and moving it forward. So from there are different ways of getting into forward. So it is either a heel to heel alignment or sometimes people do the heel to archer alignment. But when you are focusing on something as internal rotated femur, what we need is parallel tracks. That means your legs would be on two parallel tracks. So imagine I'm tall here, start. So any posture that starts with a Tadasana. Now from here I take my left leg to a 45-degree angle. But I see that my feet is pressing the floor, my heel is pressing the floor. Now I keep my pelvis square to the mat. So I turn myself, keep my rib cage not popping it out but in line with my pelvis. Keep my hands on the hip and I just take a step forward. Now my step forward should be in such a way that my back outer edge of the feet is touching the floor. So at no point of time my feet lifts up or the heel lifts up, they are on the floor. Now in case you find that your heel or the outer edge is lifting it up, shorten the distance. Okay, but don't make it so short that you don't feel anything in the legs, because it's a strengthening asana for the legs. So we need that the legs should work. So most of the time people do a mistake of shortening the distance too much. We don't need that. Okay. Now remember, if the leg position is in this way, so the front leg and the back leg, then it's difficult to balance. But if you take the leg in this position, it's easier to balance. So once again, I was here, legs are on two parallel tracks. I told myself I take the left leg to a 45-degree angle and I just take a step forward, keep my back leg active. Now remember that your pelvis should not go anterior. What we need is a neutral pelvis. So keep it neutral, engage your glutes, let the tailbone tuck under. That means that's my tailbone, let it tuck under but not in front. That is, we don't need an anterior tilt. So tucking the tailbone under, engaging the glutes, engaging the core. Now from here, once you find that you're comfortable, the foundation is good, you can feel the back feet active, the front feet active. The next is, check the right leg. Is my knee in line with my ankle? And is my knee in line with my second toe? That's very important. So maintain it. When your knee is in line with your ankle, there is less strain on your knee joint. From here, If there is no shoulder issue, you can take your arms up. Now, it is okay to keep it here also. It is okay to keep here if you have no issues on the shoulder. So there is no hard and fast rule. So check the neck and shoulders. Now I need the shoulders down. Let me change the direction. From here, once again, 45-degree angle, stepping the leg forward, tall yourself. So now my hips are facing in front, my rib cage is facing in front, okay? And I'm on two parallel tracks. It is not this, okay? So two parallel tracks. Tall myself, lengthen the spine, and now from here, when I lift my arms up, my shoulders should not go in this position. What I need, my shoulders are relaxed. Keep your neck long. We don't need this position, right? So keep your neck long, check the neck and shoulders, and just breathe. Fine. And coming back slowly, always see that your pelvis is neutral. And that's your position. So that is your Virabhadrasana 1. So there are no rules specially for the arms. Just take care. If you are comfortable, go slowly and steadily. So things that are important is first, parallel tracks. So people often make mistakes by keeping too narrow. If you keep too narrow, let's take for example, if you keep too narrow, now my pelvis is here and now I'm trying to do here. So a little bit of more squeezing or disbalancing comes in this position, especially with the legs. So friends, just keep it careful, and always when you're doing the pose, keep lengthening the lower back. Okay, you don't want to compress the lower back by doing this movement. What we need is lengthen. Let the tailbone tuck under, lengthen the spine, engage your core and maintain it. Because when you engage the core, your pelvis is more neutral. Okay, so that was your Virabhadrasana 1. So friends, it's very important that you focus on this pose slowly and gently. Friends, just be careful that you don't overarch your back. It's very easy to overarch your back, especially when you take your arms up. If there is tightness in the shoulder joint, it is very easier to arch your back. So just be careful that when you're doing it, don't arch your back. Okay, so friend, it stretches the legs, so it has really great benefits. It stretches the legs, it opens the hip and especially the hip flexors and chest, and opens the whole rib cage. So it's a great heart opener also. At the same time, it develops concentration and groundness. Friends, it is great for people with improving their blood circulation in the body and respiration. It's an energizing pose. So before you practice, don't forget to get into a warm-up, and also remember the points, the mistakes that people normally do when you're doing a warrior one. And yes, keep practicing and let me know if you have any comments or suggestions regarding warrior one. Thank you for watching, and in case you like my video, don't forget to hit the like button, and yes, do subscribe. And as I told you, if you have any suggestions or comments when you're practicing warrior one, you find any difficulty, please mention in the comment section below. Namaste.